Yeah, I gotta catch those fights.
They're good, but they're so damn long sometimes. Like they've had 6 hour, 15.
I never actually watched
minutes.
one while the fight is actually going on. I see them after.
I did one time while the fight was going on because I was hanging with nobody and I was like, I feel like a loser today.
Yeah. So you need
so
somebody.
I did
you
that
need some
the one time. Yeah. But normally, like if I'm on my own watching the fights, I don't care about anything. But that one was funny. But that podcast went 6 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, the fight cards are long though, man.
That went 3 hours after the fights were over that night. Yeah, they were talking shit after.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie got on to like Tower 7 crap.
Oh yeah, eh?
He was going on
Some
with that, and the earth being
theory
flat, and then he got into conspiracy encyclopedia that
that's
night.
his style.
Oh
That's his
fuck,
style.
he went off.
Yeah, so. Okay, let's get into it.
Funny.
So I got a recording this time. We're not going to lose anything because we're plugged in.
Yeah.
And I'll check it from time to time. And we're back. So episode, second time we're sitting here.
Second time.
It was the pilot last week. It went successful. We got some feedback from some viewers. And we also got a sponsor. So I'm going to hit that right out of the park right away. Get it over with so that they're happy, we're happy, and everybody's happy. So it's Utoya CBD. Everybody's on the CBD train nowadays, especially in Canada, their legalization, although I think it was legal from, CBD itself was legal from before, but in any event.
This is Canada, we always did that shit.
We always did that shit. And throughout the world, man, everybody's doing marijuana. But on a serious note, this is not about getting high. This is not about going to the party and selling drugs or anything like that. It's CBD, the non-psychoactive ingredient in marijuana. Utoya carries some of the best CBD products in the world. The link is in the description of this video. Utoya CBD helps you live naturally. It's herbal formulas for your mind and body. If you don't know, CBD helps with things such as anxiety, depression, nausea, vomiting, inflammation, acne, heart health, pain, and the list goes on. There's different types for different people, different milligrams, different dosages. Be patient and trust the process and find something that works for you. What they are promoting right now, Utoya, is supporting women's health. So they have products, natural herbal products that help women's menstrual cycles, the pain that comes from menstrual cycles, and the anxiety associated with menstrual cycles. It helps their reproductive system, healthy hormonal function from the beginning of menstruation on through and beyond menopause. CBD is wonderful. Check out the website, description's in the link, and they have many, many more products for something that you want help with. I'm sure they have it. Done.
That's good. Let's jump in.
Firstly, being a new podcast, it's called
The Jump.
The Jump.
The Jump.
The Jump. Okay. We had the tentative title, Jump the Fuck In.
Yeah.
Jump the Fuck In MMA. Again, we have a few more episodes before we finalize the name. Maybe we'll just name every single one differently as some other podcasts do. We're not sure yet.
We'll figure it out.
But this episode on The Jump, we want you to get to know us just a little bit better. So my name is Rob, and Josh. And we are avid MMA fans. We worked together at a few sites randomly and through agencies. And we were fortunate enough to be sent to the same job together, and that's where our friendship blossomed from.
Yeah.
And what helped that friendship blossom was MMA. We talked MMA to each other, and boxing as well.
Yep.
Combat sports.
And talking a lot of shit.
Helped make this friendship strong as well.
It's good.
So we go to all of the pay-per-view UFC pay-per-views.
Yeah.
We catch 99% of them together.
Yeah.
There's a card every week now, so we're seeing each other more often nowadays, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we talk MMA all the time, so we just thought, let's talk MMA. Maybe somebody wants to hear about what we have in mind. What made you what started your MMA fascination? I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but we're going with
I
the
was
flow.
real damn young.
Yeah.
And didn't want to be real damn young and weak.
Fair enough.
Gotta be a man at some point.
Yeah.
And you grow up in a place that's rough. You gotta be able to deal with it.
Where was that place? Let them know.
Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Born in Dartmouth, raised in Cole Harbour, just outside.
Right. I've been to Dartmouth, as we talked about
Yeah.
before. I think, well, I did have a cousin living there. I'm not sure exactly where she lives now, but beautiful place. Beautiful place. I went in the summertime.
Amazing place.
Yeah.
Amazing place. But like every place that you go to,
There's good and bad.
there's good and bad. Yeah.
So what did you start off with? What kind of martial art?
I started off with wrestling.
Wrestling.
Once I was 11 years old, 7th grader, and I had been into lifting weights since I was 8. Didn't want to be weak, so that was the quick progression from that to wrestling, and then wrestling turned into a friend doing Muay Thai kickboxing, and I jumped for that, and then went from that because the school I was at was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Got into that, and it's been a go. I've been out of it for a few years now, but
looking to get back into it soon.
Gotta get back into it. I miss that structure, and wrestling is the ticket. This year, I'm on that bad. Even if it's only just training it for this year, and then competing next year, cool. I gotta get back into that. I need it.
Yeah, you just got to do it for the love, I think. At the end of the day, like, you don't have to have really end goal, per se, but just...
Well, I grew up doing sports that were all weight class oriented and structure and all that. Without it, I just need that.
Yeah.
I need that. So that's one of my things, and then fixing cars is my other. And if I don't have those two things in my life, I gotta have them.
Yeah, for sure. Because you touched upon your starting out. I started out in martial arts through Taekwondo.
Yeah.
I started grade 3, which I believe makes me around 8 or 9 years old. And I did it not because I was weak, but not because I was weak. I just did it because, my dad would watch Bruce Lee movies and all these martial art movies, so I figured, hey, that's cool, and some of my friends at school started taking it, and I said, hey, let me start it, and started I did.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
You gotta.
So I did many years of Taekwondo. I initiated the process. I wanted to do it. I asked my dad to get me involved. He found a school for me. He pushed me into it. But as with a lot of things, I guess, with kids, I don't know. I didn't want to do it after a while. You know what I mean?
It falls off a little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta have something. It's always gotta progress to something.
And had it been my own decision, which, a lot of things are not your own decision when you're 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
But had it been my own decision, I would have started Taekwondo, and I would have finished before I got maybe a blue belt. Maybe I would have made a yellow belt. I'm not sure. But through my dad's insistency, I went through and I got my black belt. And I'm happy that he pushed me through to go that far. And I wish I had continued training, because like you, I stopped training, and I'm actually getting back into training right now, which is a really exciting thing for me. Not Taekwondo, but Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
So I took my first Jiu-Jitsu class last week. is what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Like a lot of people say it's fun and they get addicted to it. I mean, listen, I'm only one class in. I can't say I'm addicted to it or anything like that. But it is. I could see where people start to love this thing called jiu-jitsu.
It's one of those arts where you take an ass whooping for a while before you get good enough to actually catch up enough. It's very fun once you're into it for a while. I did it for a few years, and it's once you're going, it's good. Once you compete in it, that's where the addiction to me starts. I like the competing aspect.
Right.
I like the training too, but jiu-jitsu, you put that into motion, you're training, and actually see the results when you compete.
Right.
You see what you've gotten to. You see what you get, and everybody likes hardware.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like
Everybody likes that.
I know when I was growing up, I did soccer, I did taekwondo, I did basketball, and I got a whole bunch of hardware.
Yeah.
And my hardware is all in Ontario, where my mom's at, and it's all in my mom's house. And I'm like, now that I'm in Alberta, I was like, man, I need my hardware in my place of residence so that I can see the accomplishments that I've made. So I was thinking, Mom, mail my stuff over here. I need my stuff in my eyesight.
Yeah.
But then I thought, no, those are for my mom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get new ones for myself. You know what I mean?
And that's how it has to be.
Yes. So there is an end goal, even though I said you don't need an end goal, there is an end goal for me starting jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And it's something that I've been wanting to do for the last 5 years or so, since I really got into UFC, is to compete myself, you know? And I think I'm on the train to do that right now. And I'm anxious to see the results, like you said.
You'll get into that, and you do one competition. Either you'll lose or you'll win, but you'll leave going, I need another one.
Yes.
And it starts like that. That's, if you're the competitive type, it will hook bad.
Nice.
Like you're a fish on a hook.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. I really do. Like I said, I took the one class. I like it so far, so it's all good. It's messed up jiu-jitsu in a way that you're like, you just want to use your brute force and ignorance to beat the guy, and then the guy that knows what he's doing, the guy that knows what he's doing is just like, oh yeah, you wanna play Mr. Tough Guy, and then he just simply puts you in a submission.
Jiu-jitsu is called the gentle art.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu is made for people with less dominance and strength to be able to deal with someone bigger, stronger, heavier, that. If you don't have a lot of physical strength, that's a great art to get into because it's made for everybody to be able to do and to do very well.
Yeah,
it's one of the few that doesn't require a lot of strength. You don't need the super physical ability, maybe when you're competing, yes, but as a martial art for self-defense, you don't need it for that. As long as you're moderately flexible, as long as you can learn, you will learn. You can.
Let me ask you something. The back of my neck.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hurting me way longer than I thought it should, because I think it's like delayed onset muscle soreness, because you know when you go to the gym and you lift weights and then blah 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 happens, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like during my jiu-jitsu experience, you know, you're in the mount, you're in the guard or whatever, and these guys are holding you down and you're trying to get up, right?
Yep.
And I'm just like, is that why my back of my neck
breaking your posture from you making space? It can.
Yeah.
It can. It can be, depending whatever your warm-ups were. If you were doing if you were doing bridging exercises, if you wrestle, you're bridging on your neck all the time. Wrestlers always have bad neck problems, lower back problems. Jiu-jitsu is, like, lower back is usually where you find the most of your injuries over time. If you're breaking someone's posture, and I know I'm bad for it because I started with wrestling, if I grab onto something, I grab onto something to break it.
Right.
If I pull somebody into me,
yes,
when they're in guard, on top or from bottom, wherever, I'm not grabbing onto them just to rest my hand there. I'm making a point of it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's gonna suck, and then I'm gonna either choke you or make you feel like something's about to rip off of your body.
Yeah. You know what I learned to do? In jiu-jitsu class,
What?
actually? I learned how to tap.
That's a good thing to do.
It is a good thing to do because, like, I didn't know that I would have had to. Like, I got into a situation where he put a choke on me, right? And I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, oh, this is fun. Oh, you got me. Oh, this is starting to hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna pass out if you don't let go. Like, I'm wondering, why the fuck is this guy, like, we're just practicing. And then I'm just like, okay, maybe this is a good time to tap. So I tap, and then he just lets go right away. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have done that 10 seconds ago.
The deal with tapping is that's your acknowledgement that you can go no further.
Yeah.
You can fight something for a long time. As you found out, a choke, you can't fight for very long.
Right.
When you get better at it and you're more comfortable in the position, I can hang out in a choke for a while, unless it's slapped on really good.
Right.
I'm the type of person, I have short arms and I have strong arms. If I grab somebody's neck, their eyes want to pop out of their head.
Yeah.
However, everybody has something their body type is better at. Usually longer, taller, leaner people are really good at snatching up omoplatas and arm bars and stuff. You have more leverage.
Right.
As to where someone shorter, I grab and I crush.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like shorter limbs, shorter in height, your strength is built up into a smaller area. You use your leverage more than I do. But that's what makes everybody's art their art.
Right. Yeah. I just figured that I'm not fighting this choke. Let go. But now I know everything deserves a tap.
Yeah.
when the time is right.
So the best people to train with either are the ones that they know they have the position and they can finish it on their own and they just let you out, or the guys or the guys that have enough ability in it and they want to see you try something. They want to see you try something. You can learn a lot of things. This is out of the words of black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialists. You can learn a lot of things from white belts and rookies. They do things that don't make sense. Sometimes they will stumble onto something
that works.
Yeah. And the game changes. Eddie Bravo and the Twister.
I don't know about that.
Eddie Bravo used to wrestle before he got into jiu-jitsu.
Right.
He had positions that he found sucked in wrestling, but you would get DQ'd because you're not allowed doing that.
Right.
In jiu-jitsu, that wasn't the case. And some of those positions for a wrestler become very, very dominant. Some of them are better practiced, and I'm not the most of experienced in Eddie Bravo's system. I've trained under, well, my lineage is actually under George Gaethje, and before him would be Marcus Aurelio.
I don't know those guys.
George Gaethje brought Rich Franklin to the middleweight title.
Okay.
And my connection to him was through Dartmouth, or through Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, when I trained at Fit Plus. That's TJ Grant's old gym.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, so that was my little jiu-jitsu experience. I've signed up, and I'm gonna be going. I'm aiming for at least 2 classes a week.
2 is a good number.
And once I'm able to get my schedule cleared up, I want to be able to increase that. Because the end goal, I don't know if I said it earlier, I did say it earlier, is I do want to compete, and I don't want to just compete. I could compete right now, but how satisfying would that be? I want to push myself. I want to train. I want to learn a lot of things, and then test my training.
Yeah.
You know, with somebody that will, You know, maybe 1-0 as an amateur, something like that. I wanna reach a little bit higher than where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
You want to get that experience and that bucket list item checked off.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are important.
Yeah, and
Those fire you through life.
and at the same time, it's also hopefully motivating you to get back into the game.
Mine is not because of desire, it's out of necessity. I actually need it because I don't feel right when I'm not doing it, and I haven't been for a while, and I'm at that point now where it's creeping in on me all the time. I'm like, fuck, I need that bad.
Yeah.
So, if that means train all year and not compete, and then compete next year, cool. If that just means,
Which is my plan.
if I've competed for a long time
Right.
when I competed. If I get my kicks just from training, and training is really fun to me. Most people hate wrestling training because it sucks.
I've never experienced it.
Uh,
I just
wrestling
think wrestling
training-
is boring.
Wrestling
to be honest.
training.
I watch wrestling, that Olympic wrestling.
Wrestling
shit, and it's
is
just
hard to watch unless you do it. And even if you do it, it's not always the easiest to watch. It's not a spectator-friendly sport.
Yeah.
It's
They need to.
the first sport,
They need to.
the first Olympic sport,
Mhm.
but and that for that it deserves its respect. It's not. You need to know how what's going on works, because you can watch jiu-jitsu, and if you watch an IBJJF tournament,
Right.
they can have stalls. They're wearing the gis. You don't know what they're doing. It's not as spectator friendly. You don't understand it. You don't follow it. You probably don't like it.
Yeah.
If you watch boxing, if you watch Mike Tyson knuckle up with somebody,
Yeah.
that's pretty straightforward. You know what you're seeing, and you're probably gonna like it, or you're gonna be terrified from it.
Yeah.
There's lots that are like that. Luckily, I'm not one of them.
Fair enough. Last week's fights. Last weekend.
Yeah.
Last weekend's fights. A few days ago.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Saturday night.
Where did they fight at? Do you remember?
It was Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. So
Yeah.
check it out. Before we talk about any of the actual fights, I noticed something about that card
Yeah.
that I don't really notice often unless a card is in Canada,
Yeah.
which it wasn't in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like it was in Canada.
Had a little bit of a feel of that.
It had a lot of Canadian fighters.
Yes, it did.
I was just like, why is the Canadian flag going on almost every hour on this broadcast? I watched it from 3 to 8, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's so many Canadian fighters. That's how come I knew it was in Nashville, because I had to Google, where is this fight card? If it's in Canada, how come I'm not there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why? Why? Is there any reason behind the scenes you think of?
Just people's schedules.
Schedules.
Schedules line up, and opponents' schedules line up, and that's you get your number. You get your number. Or if you're further up on the card, you call them and say, "Hey, I want to fight."
Nashville.
Most of the people on that card can't do that yet.
Nashville, Tennessee. That's south, no? Or is that mid?
That's
or is that
further
north?
further south.
Further south.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hey,
I
it's not
I
a
don't got
geography
the map in front.
podcast.
I don't got a map in front of me, and I've been to the States a lot of times,
Yeah.
just not in that area. I like New York when I go to the
Tennessee.
States.
When I hear Nashville, Tennessee, it doesn't draw any form of connection to Canada. Like if it was in Buffalo or New York,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, oh, okay, it's just
If you were
down
going to Nashville, you'd
Mm.
probably into country music, and I can't see you being
No.
super big into that.
No, I'm not a big country guy.
That said, however, they do got some bomb-ass barbecue there.
Yeah, barbecue's cool. Which fight do you like from that card?
That card?
Don't talk about the main event just yet.
Not the main event. John McDessie's fight.
John McDessie's.
From Halifax.
Yes.
From
I see
Halifax?
you post on Instagram
Yep.
about that.
Yeah, he started with Taekwondo, actually, I believe.
Yeah?
He's a guy that knocks people out with spinning shit. Didn't happen this weekend, but it's a good fight. Crowd was booing a bit, and I thought that was a little uncalled for.
Went to the cards, right?
Yep, it went to the decision. It was a good fight. You need to to want to engage in a fight to make it a more entertaining fight. He had control of every one of the 3 rounds. Perfect performance. He trains out of TriStar and
Montreal?
Rufusport. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where's Rufusport?
Rufusport? Anthony Pettis' gym. Duke Rufus's gym.
Oh, Duke Rufus. That's
Yeah.
the same with...
Anthony Pettis.
What's his name there? Tyrone Woodley?
Tyron Woodley goes there. Ben Askren's there. Sergio Pettis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that at? Like,
That's in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So not super far away if you're in Toronto.
So was he? I might have been distracted during that fight.
Yeah.
So was he displaying his taekwondo?
He did a little bit.
Why was the fans booing?
When you have an opponent that just doesn't engage enough, if he's moving back,
Mm-hmm.
John McDessie's a short, stocky fighter. Everything he hits you with is hard. You gotta treat that with respect. If you're having an issue getting his timing, his range, his reach, staying out of the danger zone is the good idea. Especially a guy that you started with Taekwondo.
Yes.
That's the fast one.
Yes.
That's the
I'm
fast
learning
one. You throw fast strikes and you throw hard strikes when you learn how to do that too. You don't want to get wheel kicked by a guy.
that. No, my thing is.
You don't want to spin him back fist. He's got the record for the most spin him back fist KOs in the UFC.
Oh, you're
I
good
think.
at
I believe. Yeah, I believe so. He's
spinning back fist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Wow.
one of the 6 people to ever do it, or
You know,
one of the 6.
I've hit a lot of people with
Yeah.
spinning in my sparring days, spinning back kicks, turning
side kicks.
turning side kicks, and I've been hit by a lot of them. But
They suck in the sternum.
Yeah, they're horrible.
They'll-
And it's just like, you're gonna actually, as the defender, I'm always like awed by it because like you're gonna actually stand there, watch the man spin 360, and then hit
It
at the end
happens
of that.
pretty fast.
But I know it happens pretty fast.
Yeah, and the more flexible you are of the hips, and the more
And
fast twitch muscle tissue you have,
Mhm.
or the better you read how your opponent's moving, the easier it is to land.
Yeah. So did he win unanimous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 rounds to none.
Nice.
Yeah, he took that one.
I gotta
There was-
rewatch that one. Go
There was some more. The end of the second round was busier pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the guy's last name either. Shit. Doesn't make too much difference. I wasn't.
Mhm.
Personally, myself, I wasn't watching that fight to watch his opponent. I wanted
Watching
to see John do
your
well.
hometown
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wanted to see him do good.
That's good. What was his last fight? Do you remember? Don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I
Do you
don't
remember him having any other big name fights that
Donald Cerrone,
he lost to Cerrone?
broken jaw.
His jaw was broken. Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His jaw was broken. Donald Cerrone
So what he
head
did? He
kicked him.
couldn't continue.
Couldn't continue after that. No.
Oh man.
But he's been around a long time in the UFC. He's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
longest tenured Canadians in the UFC, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I never really followed him, to be honest.
He's
but,
it depends. Like you've got a lot of your association throughout Canada, in Ontario, and
Mhm.
Alberta,
right.
as to where mine's Nova Scotia and Alberta.
Right.
I associate with that. I've gone to Montreal a bunch of times. I associate a lot with that. A lot of the East Coast, from Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, PEI, they all go to compete in Montreal. So it's just natural progression to go there, or to go south in the tri-state area and
New
go
York.
see the New York, New Jersey, all that
Yeah.
area. Maine has its stuff.
Fair enough.
Philadelphia, another one.
So what other fight?
Blades had a good fight.
How about, wait, that was the co-main, right?
That was co-main.
Yeah. Wait, hold up on the co-main and the main. What about that, what's that girl fight? That
Marcy Barber.
Marcy Barber.
Yeah.
And, she's 10-0?
I think she's
Something
8-0
like that.
now.
8-0.
I think she's 8-0. She went into the fight 7-0, I believe.
Remind me, how did she win the
She's-
fight last night or Saturday night?
With a straight left.
Straight left.
That set everything up. Yeah, that she landed a 1-2, and I believe that finished up on that. But
She was
very good.
She was
controlled that.
she's. I don't know if I was Macy Barber, right?
Yes.
She talks a big game. That's
Yeah.
how I haven't watched her fights, but I've watched her interviews, and she talks a big game. So I was like, okay, this girl is the way that she's talking. She's got to deliver, almost
Yes.
like a Conor McGregor type thing,
Yeah.
right? But she wasn't looking all that hot in the fight. I'm not talking about her physical looks. I'm talking
No,
about
the
like,
UFC is going to push that on the fact she was attractive and she fights.
Yeah,
the UFC is going to push that.
yeah, she's attractive, but like she didn't look like she was winning the fight.
She had better moments and not as good moments. She was winning the fight up until the
You
point
think
that
she was
won.
winning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a sub 10 professional bouts fighter.
Mhm.
She's gonna get better.
No, I'm
She's
not.
gonna get
I'm
better.
not
There's-
knocking her per se, but
No.
Mhm.
But the way they're pushing her, you think there might be more behind it.
Right.
That's not always the case.
right.
That's not always the case. Conor McGregor, when he got to the UFC, he was something, but Max Holloway was 1-1 at the time, and
Mhm.
they went to a decision. And both of them were injured going into that fight or during that fight.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm waiting to see more of her and see if she
The
will live up to. Like everybody's confident in
the
themselves
telling
for sure, but
the telling point with her and with almost any fighter is you see year 2 that they're in there. The average fighter contract life
mhm.
of the UFC fighter is a year and a half at most.
Yeah.
If you make it over,
Yeah.
if you make it over 2 years, there's something to that.
Yeah, for sure.
So long as it's not an injury holding you up in that time, the more active you are, usually the better that is. The best fighters are usually the most active ones to a degree, and like I said, she'll get better. She was impressive for what she was doing. That's a big spotlight too. Remember, they put the machine
Right.
behind her this
Right,
week,
right,
this
right,
past week.
right. And she has big shoes to fill type deal because of
She
that.
was doing lots of interviews. She
It looked
had
like
a
she was
lot of that
handling
stuff.
well.
She handled it well.
Yeah.
She
Um,
passed.
So who's next for her?
That's at
Big name or
125.
no?
No.
No. Not
I wouldn't
yet.
say yet. I would say whoever's just outside of the top 10,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, get her some.
Build her slow.
Yeah, for sure.
Build her slow. They tend to rush people sometimes. Paige Van Zandt was a good
Yeah.
version of someone or
Yeah.
example of someone rushed. She kind of put that on herself too.
Yes.
She wanted to rush, but
Yes.
you can only learn and progress so fast, and if you go up the skill level too
Mhm,
high
mhm.
too soon,
I
you're
think-
going to run into Michelle Watterson.
I think they're rushing Israel Adesanya as well.
Yes.
It's hard to say that because he is a very, very experienced fighter.
He is, but
not.
they have to test him to know where he's at
Yeah.
to get that.
Yeah.
And he beat Anderson Silva in Anderson's most inspired fight in probably years.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson showed up to that
Mhm.
fight actually enjoying fighting,
Mhm.
it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a normal Anderson Silva fight either because it looked like he was fighting a younger Anderson Silva, but
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see in his next fight.
His-
Israel.
he's got Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, we'll see. That is the real test.
That's a
for
real
me.
measuring stick there, even though he's not the most professional of fighters.
Kelvin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
missing weight,
Yeah, I know.
doing all that.
Yeah, Kelvin. Not
He's-
one of my favorites,
he's,
but I'm sure that if Israel can beat a guy like Kelvin, then yes, that means something.
Yeah.
That
Kelvin, for any bit of pitfalls he has, he's a very good fighter. That's just the bare bones of it.
Yeah,
He's a very good
definitely.
fighter. And he's the guy that will test you. If you're not one of the best, you're not going to beat him.
Yeah. it's so unfortunate he didn't get that Robert Whittaker fight.
That would have been a good fight. Actually, I think that would have been
I had
a chance
lot
for fight
of
of
money.
the year.
I had a lot of money on Robert Whittaker. A lot.
Yeah,
The
I
most
had,
I've ever bet, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have said before that fight even started, if that fight had happened that night, that was one of my picks for potential fight of the year. That was that good of a competitive type fight. Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker was number 2 was a burner as well.
Amazing.
Robert Whittaker is he's very good.
Curtis Blades.
Don't piss off the big man.
I didn't see the lead up, but I
didn't really watch a lot
seen
of
the
it
post right after the fight, and he was like talking shit to him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what's that all about? Like, you know what I mean? So I have to look now. Maybe I should have looked prior to recording this. But I want to see what kind of you know what? Didn't we just listen to an interview?
Yes.
And he was talking about
Willis
his
was
father.
talking some shit about his dad. Yeah, and don't piss off the big man.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That was like, out of the fights, the notable fights for me, that was like, I guess, one of the more dominant
domination of a fight.
Because
he got 30-25 on one of the scorecards.
So that's 10-8? It's a 3-round fight.
That's 10-8 on,
That's 10-8
Wait a second. On two rounds,
Damn. You don't see that every day.
Not every day.
Yeah. So he says he's gonna Khabib his way up to the top.
With that fight, it looked like it.
Yeah.
Justin Willis really isn't. He's not Stipe Miocic.
Mm-hmm.
He'll. Let's see. Let's see what he can do. He's pretty green in it when it comes right down to it.
Who, Curtis?
Yeah. The vast majority of heavyweights are near or above 40 years old. Heavyweights last a long time.
Yeah. How old is Curtis, you said?
I don't even think he's 30 yet.
Yeah,
I think he's 29.
He looks young.
Something like that, yeah. He's got time. And he's very good for what he is now. And he
has a really sick haircut. You see that shit?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Likes to look good.
You gotta look good. Gotta look good. Feel good. Perform good.
Show up looking like you can kick ass.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to throw shade on a guy that doesn't look like they train as much, but if you don't look like you train as much, that's I don't ever want to bag on a fighter, but you know, if he was missing some of that gut, maybe that would have been, you know, more of a gas tank.
Who had a gut recently that got his gut check? It was
Derek Lewis. Yeah.
Holy
he
moly.
got
When
kicked
you
in
see
the
a
body.
gut like that, like you fighting somebody like Roy Nelson, your game plan has to be like kick him in his stomach.
Roy Nelson was weird. He had like the gut of Zeus if it was fat.
Yeah.
Because
like,
you couldn't hurt
strong,
his gut.
right?
Yeah, it was like an old man boiler.
Yeah.
But the problem with a gut like that, if you're fighting someone like that, this sounds really rude, but it traps you on the ground, kinda.
It traps you.
Traps you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like somebody that's in shape and their body is just here. It sort of conforms around you a little bit. If they're in side control specifically, it's harder to move someone like that off of you. Plus, their weight is centralized in their body where their natural...
Well, you got to use your tools. You got to use your body as an advantage any way you can. You know what I mean?
Or if you're Pettis, use the fence as an advantage.
Oh, yeah. I was so impressed by that. Pettis, Wonderboy. Showtime, Wonderboy. I said last week,
I think we both said
Wonderboy wins that fight. And the only basis of my decision was the weight. Because as we seen right before, we were talking about right before we started, the people who missed weight
usually
win almost 100% of the time. So my philosophy with that is, okay, the bigger guy has to win.
Here's something you do miss when you say it that way, though. Now there's a guy cutting weight versus a guy that's not cutting weight. Now there's a guy that's at full strength without being limited and a guy that's
so
that
in
is.
that argument, you're saying Pettis was more full strength.
Here's one other thing, or actually a couple of.
He looked. Talking about guts.
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis had something going on over.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't cut weight, obviously.
No, but he was in shape. He did do a small weight cut to make 170, but
for sure.
he was more his natural size.
Right.
That's healthy. You have more of a gas tank that way. You can deal with stuff. The thing with that fight, and I said it.
Taekwondo versus karate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kyokushin, I believe, as well.
What's that?
The
karate. This
karate style.
Yeah. Is that the same side note as GSP or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that's the one he started with.
Right,
GSP, absolutely, yes, he started with that one. I think I had Wonderboy last week too. I did say enough times in the lead up to this fight, and I don't know if I said this on the podcast last week or not. Pettis is better with his hands.
Yeah.
Wonderboy is better with the legs. If you stay at kicking range, Wonderboy is going to fuck you up. And if you get in past that, you have more of a chance. That's generally what Tyron Woodley did. If he got into that hands region, he was able to throw. And
you're talking about specifically against Wonderboy or Tyron Woodley just in general?
No, against Wonderboy. Wonderboy's hands aren't his best weapon.
No.
His kicks are.
Right.
He's a fundamentally different style than what Pettis struggles with too.
Oh, yeah.
He's not a very pressuring fighter. He's more of a backup countering fighter.
Yeah.
Pettis can set a pace with that. Pettis can trap. Pettis is, as he showed, very, very good at picking up on reads during the fight. If he sees you're making a mistake and he sees it a couple times, the third time you're going to pay for it.
Make those adjustments.
And Pettis, I don't know if I've ever seen a fighter more dangerous if he gets his feet behind the black octagon mark on the cage, because every time he gets behind that, if it's under his own desire to get behind that mark, he seems to touch that fence and fly.
Yeah.
And you see something new out of him every time. Jose Aldo actually did that a couple times too, and you're going to hit or you're going to fail.
Is that something
really bad?
Is that something from their gym? Because that's Tyron Woodley wants to be behind that black line too, it looks like.
Well, Tyron Woodley fights best when he's going forward, and then Tyron Woodley also...
He retreats a lot.
I think he wants to be a countering striker. A counter striker, but his best striking is when he dictates the pace and is going forward. If you remember when he fought Robbie Lawler, bam, and it was over. When he fought Jay Huron, bam, and it was over. Josh Koscheck, again, bam, it was over. If he gets backed up, it's almost like he thinks too much. It's almost like he thinks too much. His last fight, it just looked like he didn't even want to be there.
We didn't want to go there because he didn't want to be there.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk about that.
But talking about Pettis,
yeah.
If he gets behind that line, he's dangerous as fuck.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody that's more creative behind that line.
Wonderboy
in attack
has never been knocked out.
Never. And it happened by a guy that moved up in weight to fight him. Again, that can attribute to a weight cut.
Yeah,
your ability to take a shot
all this time too.
Stephen Thompson does not have a big jaw either, and smaller jawed fighters usually don't take a shot as well.
Yeah, I'm happy for Pettis. I'm so happy for Pettis.
Yeah.
Pettis
needed
look
that.
At the run that he had when he first started.
Up until he fought RDA, it all fell off after that, and he's probably going to take that loss to the grave.
Yeah.
That one's going to fuck
He called that one back for it.
Yeah. He wants that fight back.
And now that they're both at welterweight.
And
they're both...
He called for that fight. He called for a fight with Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
and you know what fight he didn't call for, but would be really cool?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Welterweight?
No, lightweight.
Lightweight? which one would be cool? You also got T-Ferg, which was really cool.
This isn't an out of the box one.
Okay,
That was
give it to me.
Jose Aldo.
They were supposed to fight.
They were supposed to fight. That would be a very good fight. Aldo is in his last year of competition before retiring.
Yeah.
And they're both very
I've always
creative
wanted
strikers.
to see that fight, actually.
When they teased that fight before and they wanted to do it at 145, when Jose had the belt, and this is before Pettis had the belt at 155, I wasn't so hot on that fight. I saw looking at Pettis, like he looked really lean coming into his weigh-ins at 155. Not that he was super sucked in, like some are really bad.
Right.
But
he wasn't that bad.
He was a guy that he doesn't carry a lot of body fat, so if you go lower, there's going to be diminishing returns. One of which, and the biggest of which, is the fact that you're going to lose your ability to take a shot as well, and the next most important one is you're not going to be as fast as the guys that are natural to that weight.
Yeah,
He goes up, and I said this for a long time, Stephen Thompson might be quicker, but the faster fighter is Pettis. And speed kills.
Explain.
Quickness is bursting type speed. It is... I don't know, the best way to describe that is guys that just get things done well in movement. Fast is like a lightning bolt strike that comes at you.
So you're saying that Pettis is faster?
Faster,
in that fight.
When the last sequence of that fight happened, they both threw a left hook or a right hook. Pettis was coming off the fence, and Wonderboy, as he was coming in, and his eyes were shut while doing so, he was throwing a right hook as well. Guess who's got there first?
The faster
the fight went. Yeah, the faster one.
Yeah.
Quicker is different. It's in delivery, but not in overall speed.
Yeah. Fair enough. I didn't separate those two, but watching the fight, I was like, Wonderboy's faster or quick. I just used them synonymously.
Yeah.
But Wonderboy looked faster the whole time, the whole fight.
Actually,
to me.
You know what? Wonderboy in that fight looked better than he has probably ever in the UFC to me. I thought that was his best fight up until that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't his most spectacular, like finishing a guy off or nothing, but
there was no finish for him.
There was no finish for him, and he didn't win. But like in overall calmness and fighting, and he's got so much experience. Like he dwarfs a lot of guys in experience.
Yeah.
With that,
well, like you said, he was winning that fight.
Yeah, he was winning that fight, and he was bloodying up Pettis.
Oh, he looked bad, Pettis. I was like, fuck. I felt so bad for him because I really, really wanted this guy to win, Pettis.
Yeah, and Pettis had one of those performances where you go, I think he's got the monkey off his back. You know, that RDA fight carried with him for a long time, and he traded wins and losses all the time after that. And he's fought tough fights. Here's the shitty part about it is all of the top of the division are fights either he doesn't want at welterweight or ones that are really bad stylistic fights for him.
Right.
He doesn't do the greatest with pressuring fighters.
When
Marty is the champ.
Oh yeah, he's not getting that.
Not getting that.
No,
Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren are in that division. He doesn't want to fight teammates.
Yeah, even if they weren't his teammates, those wouldn't be good fights for him.
And you know,
T-Wood might be a good fight for him.
Maybe, but you know
T-Wood has all these wrestling credentials, but he doesn't wrestle.
Yeah. Not always.
Yeah.
He does sometimes.
Sometimes, but you could easily get him into a stand-up fight. In my opinion.
If you back him up.
Yeah.
If you back him up and you make it a standing fight.
Yeah.
If of all the fights that he could have at welterweight, another one that he doesn't want is Jorge Masvidal because they're managed by the same. They have the same management.
Yeah,
if there was any fight at welterweight next
yeah.
for Pettis, even though that's a step behind in the rankings, I would have really liked to see that fight. That's a good fight.
Which one?
Jorge Masvidal and Anthony Pettis would be a really good fight.
So you're saying that Pettis is ahead of him in the rankings? Although I'm sure
he just knocked out the number 3 or 4 ranked guy.
Fair enough. Yeah, he just did. You're right.
Yeah.
So RDA, I'm sure he's still in the top 10.
RDA is in the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fight that needs to
RDA.
happen. Because they're both not ready for a title shot.
No,
You
a
know?
lot of people are saying RDA. When Anthony brought up the idea of Conor McGregor at 155, that actually makes a lot of sense. It doesn't. It takes him away from that title hunt in a sense, but Conor needs somebody that he can fight. That's a good fight for Conor. Conor needs a fight
Well,
that's
it doesn't take him away from the title hunt. If he beats Conor, he's
not at welterweight.
title
It does
contender.
though.
Well, he's not.
If he's looking for a title at welterweight, that's going to take him away from it.
Well, if he's fighting Conor,
If
he's going to
he's-
fight Conor at 155.
If he's fighting Conor at 155, it's let's make some money.
Yeah, but you can't. Conor's next fight, if he loses that fight, the person who beats him is calling for a
getting
title shot.
They should. They should. If it's at lightweight, though, I don't know if Pettis can at the moment, unless some shit happens. Lightweight's just a clusterfuck at the moment. There's too many.
That's what they need to. They need to.
If they
do
split the divisions.
I did something that I like to like, and I think a lot of people like to say like, this might happen next, this might happen next, that might happen next. So I'm saying Ben Askren, in the next 2 fights, wins the three maybe.
Yeah.
But he could do it in 2 fights.
Yeah.
Wins the welterweight title.
Dana would be so pissed.
And
I
then,
would love that.
And then Dana would be pissed, but then he'd be like, so pissed to the point where he's like, I'm closing down the welterweight division. Finally, I'm closing down the welterweight division.
Bust out the checkbook and get George St. Pierre out of retirement.
Yeah, and then what's going to happen is they fight at 170 to finish this welterweight thing. They can market it as the last welterweight fight.
Yeah.
GSP versus Ben Askren.
That's a fight that Ben's wanted.
If GSP wins, Dana's like, cool, he's going to drop the belt anyways, and I'm dropping the division anyways.
Yeah.
By GSP, you're the last welterweight champion. Add that to your list of things that you've done.
Yep.
And what if Ben Askren wins? Then Ben Askren can get the choice
to go 165.
Doing the inaugural 165 belt
or
the inaugural 175 belt.
Yeah. If you draft a division taking some of 170 and 155, you don't deplete either of them 2 divisions that bad at all. And actually,
and
you
both
can take
need it. There's too much shit happening in welterweight, and it's live right now. And there's too much shit happening at lightweight, and it's live right now too.
This is the era of the super fight too. You want some champ versus champ fights. That's the way to do it. They're split between 15 pounds right now. If you split all 3 between 20, guys do jumps.
Yeah.
Guys do jumps. 10 pounds isn't much to jump.
No.
Anthony Pettis going from 155 to 170 looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
He looked phenomenal.
And you know what? RDA looked phenomenal too.
RDA looked amazing when he came up, when he was in Saskatchewan and beat the brakes off of Robbie Lawler. I thought that was something.
Yeah, that's crazy how he
like Robbie Lawler, I think, was injured
Robbie Lawler had
before
some
that
stuff
fight
happen,
too, but
sure.
Nobody's done that to Robbie Lawler in a long time. Like when he came back to the UFC, he was something totally different than he's ever been.
Robbie Lawler. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like when he was young and he was 19 in the UFC.
But his career was going this way.
It went up
Yeah.
to a degree, and then it peaked and it went down, and then
UFC
he did 185, and then he went to other organizations, and he traveled around to a shit ton of different organizations. I believe he was in Pride one or maybe 2 fights back then. And he was Strike Force, and he was Rumble on the Rock, and he was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
He was fighting for Elite XC,
Mm-hmm.
gathered up some titles, knocked out some old-timers like Frank Trigg.
Yeah.
Came back to the UFC, looked like a
Frank
fucking
Trigg.
world beater.
Muscle man, like, if I remember him correctly, that was like...
He's the high
That
rate.
was the pre-USADA day fighter, for sure.
Yeah, well, Frank...
You know who I'm thinking of? No,
you're
I'm thinking about
Frank-
Sean Shirk, maybe.
Sean Shirk.
That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Trigg was... If you remember Matt Hughes, when he was in his peak...
Mm-hmm.
UFC 52. This one's easy to remember for me because Chuck Liddell beat Randy Couture at that one
Yeah, yeah.
for the light heavyweight title. And that was right after the first season of The Ultimate Fighter wrapped.
Okay.
That followed it like a week after that season and the finale went off was the pay-per-view. Matt, after getting hit in the groin early in the first round,
Mm-hmm.
fought to get back to his feet, grabs Frank Trigg's legs, picks him up on his shoulder, and ran all the way to the far end of the
I
cage
seen that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
threw him down, beat the shit out of him, and choked him out.
I remember.
Got a rear naked choke and choked him out. That was the second time he hit him with a rear naked choke and beat him for the title.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was when he was at his peak
Yeah.
as well. But Frank Trigg, after that fight, he ran into George St. Pierre, and then soon after that, he was never in the UFC for a long time, and then he came back, and he all of a sudden had hair. No one knew he could grow hair at that time.
Technology.
Something.
Yeah. Science.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Came back. He fought Matt Serra. That didn't go so well.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite fighters beat Frank Trigg.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of my favorite fighters beat Frank Trigg. I guess he was a really good fighter too. Like when he fought.
He had a big name. I don't know what he done. But I wasn't really watching it that time. I know about him. I know about him because he fought George St.
Yeah, he came into the UFC back in UFC 45 or 46.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long time ago.
Him a little bit.
Yeah, that would have been 2003, the end of 2003, I think.
Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis.
RDA?
If it's at welterweight, take RDA. If he goes back to lightweight, Conor only has one fight that he can go for right now.
I keep saying Conor. Like, Conor's not gonna fight. I know Conor's sending out a tweet and all that.
It's not.
Fight Pettis.
It's not that he's not going to fight it. It's that Pettis is a style fight that makes sense for Conor, and Pettis wants that fight. And Conor wants Nate Diaz potentially again, and Nate Diaz might just not want to fight again.
Conor shouldn't fight Nate. He should just leave that alone. Conor could fight anybody he wants, really, for the most part.
Yeah.
He might have a hard time getting the Khabib fight. But
he's not.
Other than that, he could fight almost anybody he wants.
Yeah.
And
well, he's talked about it with Conor. He's talked about the fights that he's looking at.
He shouldn't fight.
And he said...
Because Nate beats him in the trilogy.
He said actually...
His done, in my opinion. No?
No. Because it's one fight apiece for them. It should be two fights to Nate.
Right, okay. But if Nate beats him the third
beats
one,
him,
then that's it for Conor.
That's it for Conor unless he really just wants to fight. Conor is a guy that just enjoys fighting.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
He's got the name recognition. He's starting to... When you think about it, you think he lost a lot of times, but he really didn't. He's been very inactive in the times he's fought. He lost to the best boxer that's ever competed in the sport of boxing.
We're not even going to talk about that.
But when he came back to MMA, he fought against the best lightweight fighter that's ever been in the division.
Yeah. He's fighting the best,
for
sure.
He's not taking slouches.
For sure. Listen, Conor was in the news recently.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about Conor. Not that I don't like Conor.
Yeah.
But our time here is limited.
Yeah.
So Conor is going to go on the back burner a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's going to come back as well. But
he should. Chael Sonnen actually said, you know what, right now
Mm-hmm.
might just be a good time for Conor to just not fight. Like, there's not really anything good for him at the moment. that's there.
Well, I mean, like GSP took 4 years off and came back, and he was the shit. So like, there's no rush basically.
No.
Like, they could be a fight that establishes. But what I want to say, and it is related to Conor, because the fight that he should actually take upon his return, if everybody was able to do it, is Tony Ferguson.
That's a good fight.
I'm not talking about which one's going to sell more pay-per-views, this, that,
No,
that
but
thing.
you're just saying from a guy's perspective.
Because Khabib's out.
Yeah.
Because Tony Ferguson wasn't able to fight for the interim belt because he has some issues.
He has some outstanding issues that... Those are personal issues. Leave them where they are.
Hold on. We're going to talk about that in a second. And I don't know what's going to happen with Khabib. T-Ferg should fight Khabib next. If not, T-Ferg should fight Conor. And they should battle it out to see who fights Khabib.
Yeah.
Or it's so
That's
messed
a damn
up because
good fight
there's an interim belt too now and everything. But on it, let me. You know about this Tony Ferguson situation. We're gonna talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised because like I don't really actively seek news. I am ingrained in this MMA world and I have them on my YouTube and I get information and whatnot. I honestly don't know exactly what's happening with Tony Ferguson. But hold on, you're gonna tell me. You are gonna tell me. But in a second,
I don't know a whole lot about it.
You're gonna tell me what you know, and then we'll make sense of it. There was another MMA podcast that I'm not gonna say which one it is, but I started to watch it. A specific episode.
Yeah.
And one of the first things they said was, so we weren't going to do our podcast today, not word for word, but basically they said, so we weren't going to do our MMA podcast today, but important news has come into the MMA world.
Yeah.
So we have to do a podcast today. It's the extent of their opening message. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? And then they're like, Conor McGregor is arrested for strong arm robbery. And by that time, I had already knew that he was arrested for strong arm robbery. Yeah. But the first thing that came to my head was, you're an MMA podcast. You weren't going to do the podcast today.
No.
But some important news happened, so you're going to do the podcast.
And it wasn't that important.
And you're talking about Conor what does that like, other than it's an MMA athlete, what does that have to do with the MMA world?
That actually doesn't have jack shit to do with that. Actually, you know what? The only thing that should have been brought up in that podcast was, where's your manhood, man? You're calling the cops to tell a police officer that a grown man stole your phone and smashed it because you were taking pictures in his VIP section.
Yeah. But why...
Tear up your man card.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But why I'm like a little bit... I don't know if shock's the right word. Something. I'm just going to explain what I feel, and I'm just like...
Yeah.
I didn't have to dig deep to find out that Conor McGregor got arrested.
No.
But I still don't know...
That jumped around a lot.
Right. I still don't know what really happened to Tony Ferguson. All I know is that we should be giving him our condolences.
Yeah.
But I would think that his news is more important than Conor McGregor getting arrested.
I think that's a hell of a lot more important. However, it's a touchy subject.
Okay, so tell me what you know about it.
Because there's a restraining order.
Yeah.
From his wife. From his wife saying there was problems, there was domestic issues. He didn't hit her.
Right.
He didn't hit her. He didn't do any of that. But there's a mental degradation going on.
Wow, big words.
Yeah. And that can be attributed to getting hit in the head.
Oh, so whatever's happening to him, he's saying like maybe he has some mental trauma or something?
Yeah, and I have a personal friend that's worked around people with mental issues, and, you know, this is not a doctor saying or anything, but he goes, you know, this kind of reminds me a little bit of a schizophrenic.
Well, Tony Ferguson has always been kind of out there.
Yeah.
I'm not making light of the situation.
No, but getting hit in the head changes the chemistry of your brain.
For sure.
Your biology will change
For
getting
sure.
hit.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Side note. Is it worse to get knocked out or is it worse to get choked out? It's worse
Your
to get
brain-
knocked out.
Your brain doesn't get traumatized, beaten around inside of it, the fluid that's there.
Right.
If you get choked.
Cerebral spinal fluid.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It doesn't get...
It doesn't get jarred around.
Right.
You have a concussive event, and your brain is floating. It hits the front, it hits the back, it goes, and you have multiple sources of trauma.
Yeah.
From a hard enough hit.
So
if you're the type of...
Definitely the knockout.
Yeah. So if you're the type of fighter that gets into brawling fights, and this is where Diego Sanchez just... He doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, he's on some
It doesn't make sense to me. He looks younger than he was. He looks younger than he was 20 years ago.
Diego Sanchez. I don't have this confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised if Diego Sanchez is consuming Utoya CBD products.
That was a good plug.
I think that's what
That
he's
was
doing.
a good plug. Man.
Links in the description.
Yes. That was good.
But on a real note, we're still on the Tony Ferguson topic, but we're talking side points here. I'm not showing off my muscles. This is me pretending to choke somebody. I was getting choked that day in the jiu-jitsu class, and I was like...
It's a special way that choke is slapped on because it doesn't crush your trachea.
Well, whatever it did, I tapped.
Yeah.
I did tap, but having that actual feeling, because that was the closest I've ever gotten to being choked out.
Yeah.
I didn't get choked out, but that was the closest I've ever felt. Yeah. And having that feeling, I was like, there is absolute... And again, it's just a feeling. I don't know what would happen if push came to shove.
Yeah.
But I left that choke saying, had this been a real competition...
Or a real fight.
He would have had to sleep me. I would have never tapped.
Yeah.
But you see people in the UFC tapping. And some people never tap.
Yeah.
And I hear that argument all the time.
When you're competing...
you can't tap. And again, I could be talking a whole bunch of bullshit because I haven't felt a real choke.
Here's one thing that you're missing with being in jiu-jitsu not very long.
Yeah.
The more times you get put to sleep that way, the easier it is to get put to sleep that way.
And put me to sleep.
Don't do it in training, though.
No, not in
Don't
training.
do it in training.
No, I'm going to tap in training, but in competition...
But in competition...
I would never... I'm just saying that now. I never
Here's the difference. In competition, guys also know if you're stuck and you can't get out, you live to fight another day.
But that's another reason why I asked.
Protect yourself
to
be better tomorrow.
That's the reason why I asked what's worse, knockout or a choke. And
it's definitely the concussive strike.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But like, how bad? And I don't know. Maybe I can Google it and whatnot. But how bad is being choked out? Because people do that in the playground for fun. Growing up in school, I never did it, but I see my friends do it.
if you slap a choke on, you're starving oxygenated blood to the brain.
Right.
You will kill you will kill brain cells doing that, but it's at such a lesser extent.
You don't want to take
and
too much.
The reason guys tap is because they're not losing them at that point, and they're keeping their mental edge at as high a peak as they can. You can fight it if you're fighting professionally and you're in the UFC. They have a show up purse and then a winning purse.
You don't
maybe fight it. If you think there's any chance you can get out, fight it. If you're trapped and there's just nothing, I don't have anything wrong against tapping because I grew up in a gym where the best guy in the gym went into the UFC and he started tapping out everybody or knocking them out.
Yeah. When
he dropped down to lightweight, like he got on a run, and his first 13 fights were all finishes other than one, I believe. A lot of them were like his first 6 fights were armbar finishes. Like when it came to submission, if I'm trapped, okay.
Yeah,
No
I
ego.
guess when you put it that way, like,
No ego.
if you know that you're not gonna come out, then you might as well, instead of getting choked out, just
I-
say, you know what, we're done.
When I do jiu-jitsu, I do something, and BJ Penn did this, and a lot of good grapplers do this when they can, especially in MMA. If you get a guillotine, or if you get, especially a rear-naked choke, if you can trap an arm down to somebody's body with your legs around them, and then you have only one arm to deal with, and then grab the neck, and then force your choke on somebody, you have one hand and arm free to try and do something with. Why are you fighting at that point?
Fair enough.
Sometimes it's just better to say, you know what, you got me. I'm going to remember that you got me.
Yeah.
Because you
We're
will
gonna try
lose
and
a
get
fraction of your memory if you get choked out. And I'm going to come back. I will see you again.
Yeah. I guess it's just mindset. I got it from
When there's money on the line, it's different though.
I got it from Michael Bisping, because like
He's a warrior's warrior. He goes out on his shield.
Yeah,
Lots of fighters do.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Nogueira did.
That concept to me,
Nogueira had his arm
sense.
broken and didn't tap even after that.
I'm not for breaking bones. Like,
No,
if you got me in an arm bar, I'm gonna tap 100%.
Yeah. But there's a lot that don't. Like, if you go into amateur competition in judo specifically, lots of arm bars there. They will say, if you get your elbow busted up and snap backwards, you have more room to get out of that submission. Some will fight through that.
It's true.
Misha Tate fought through
it's
that.
True. And then maybe if you're skilled enough, you could put it right back in somehow.
Yeah. The first time Misha Tate fought Ronda Rousey, she had her arm
that was
tortured.
pride. That was pride. She's
was
like, I can't lose to Ronda Rousey.
Pride, ego, she's the... Her and Paige Van Zandt. Don't look it, but they are the
They're
toughest
tough.
bitches that ever walked.
They're tough.
Yeah.
When is T-Ford coming back? Any word? Do we know?
Not a clue. Not a clue. He's got to take his time.
So basically,
he's got to deal with
brief
his...
synopsis is mental issue, and we're thinking too many
Yeah,
shots to the
that's...
head. And
No, it's not even
giving
thinking.
him his our condolences.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even thinking. It's knowing. Is what you're going to say, right?
Oh no. Well, you know that the head trauma can bring on stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't know if it was that,
right?
Because that hasn't been brought to light yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was kind of messed up that he didn't get the interim title shot, right?
He turned it down, I heard.
But maybe because of that reason.
It could have had something to do with that.
Was connected.
Yeah, no, it could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Who's Ali Quinta fighting next? I heard that he has a...
He's fighting Cowboy.
Yeah.
Because Cowboy isn't fighting Connor.
Cowboy's like, let's get something signed. But hey, that would have been a nice fight.
Cowboy just, he's a guy that likes to fight. And he fights best when he fights regularly.
Yeah.
He's one of the best fighters on short notice that
Do
you
you
could ever.
remember the date of that card? What month, maybe? Is it
Off the top of my head,
no.
I don't even remember what card that's on.
Yeah. You know who I'm excited to watch?
It's in the next 2 months, I believe. But that's.
I think it's actually on. I could be wrong, but I think it's on the same card where Rose is fighting for that strap. Not fighting for the strap, defending.
Yeah. I think so. Maybe.
I think it's so. Rose is another girl that.
She's really good.
Yeah, I like biased. I like those Taekwondo based fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I wish her all the best. Next fight card.
Yeah.
That's next week. Do you remember who we got on the main event? I had it here.
Oh, my bear.
Okay. Didn't know we were drinking. But yeah. It's not a pay-per-view. It's
another
UFC on
ESPN
ESPN 2, if I'm not mistaken. I do like this whole ESPN stuff because they got some good cards, man. And I know a lot of people like to talk about the UFC being saturated. I think is the word. Like there's just too many cards, oversaturated.
Too many fights, too regularly. I used to say that.
If there's a weekend and there's no fights, I feel lost. I look forward to fights on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy that for the most part now, there is a fight every weekend. And I know there's negative effects of that, oversaturation, a lower product because they just have to fill so many cards and whatnot. But to me, they seem like they're doing a good job, in my opinion. And you know what? If you're a fan of mixed martial arts, you should be a fan of two people fighting. It doesn't have to be that big name. It doesn't have to be Conor McGregor. It doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? But
No.
a mixed martial art competition is a mixed martial art competition. And what is the next mixed martial art main event competition?
Main event, Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje and
Edson
Edson
Barboza.
Barboza. That should be fireworks.
I can't believe I couldn't remember that off the top of my head. And that's probably, I've had so many fights lately that I've been watching. But
Yeah, it's
there's a lot.
oversaturation.
It is to a degree. It's hard to follow all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of super fan that would watch them because I can bring up a memory of watching from UFC 43 just off the top of my head.
Right.
A particular thought, but that was one every 2-3 months at the time even.
Yeah, and
Back then.
and we would talk about it for 2-3 months.
Yeah,
The
and you
one-
had time for them to prep that next fight, and it was really on your mind. Kovacevic is fighting Michelle Watterson in the co-main
on that
event.
same card.
Yeah,
Michelle Watterson.
Carolina.
She's not taekwondo. She's karate.
she's karate.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, karate hottie.
The karate hottie. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson's also on the card.
Yeah,
I think
at
he went down.
145.
Yeah, 145.
Yep.
Hey.
He's
I thought
had
the
one
new
fight
trend-
at least down at 145 already.
I thought the new trend was fight in your weight class, but hey.
For some guys it is.
Mhm.
For some guys it is not.
Right.
Some guys went. Well, you remember Pettis went down to 145,
Horrible.
and it wasn't a good look. And then
Yeah.
he came up to 155. He started doing better again, and then he went to 170, and he looked phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, you keep from yesterday. You kept saying, and we kind of had
Yeah.
a text debate about it. Like he did look phenomenal at 170. Yes, against a 170 striker. Like
That's not the type of fighter that he struggles with, though. He didn't fight a guy that's a super pressure fighter that he struggles with.
right. Wonderboy.
But-
right. So I'm saying like.
But
any
he was
other-
able to
any-
take a shot again, is
I
what I
know,
was getting
but
at.
any other welterweight. Like, firstly, there were no takedown attempts. There was no threat of a takedown. Like,
No, you don't need that, though.
there was no grappling. If there's any
I
of
like-
these things involved, I don't think Anthony Pettis will look as good in
Maybe
as
not.
a welterweight.
Actually, you know what?
Against a
Anthony Pettis-
welterweight that will grapple.
Anthony Pettis is one of those type strikers that's really good at hitting someone and then grabbing onto something.
Pettis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some submission wins. He won
Yeah,
the belt
yeah,
with a submission.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's big on
He is-
jiu-jitsu.
his jiu-jitsu is good.
Yeah.
It's not, world championship level,
Yeah.
but his weakness is wrestling, and his weakness is guys that storm him. Oddly enough, Tyron Woodley
I was just thinking that.
struggles with that. A lot of fighters do. A lot of fighters, you notice posturing when fighters are when they're squaring off in the cage. If you can remember back to when Anthony Pettis fought Donald Cerrone in the UFC, if you remember that, and Cerrone had won like 6 fights or 7 fights in a row at the time, Anthony Pettis walked into the cage and stared him down like, I don't give a shit if you could have won 30 fights in a row, I'm running over you.
Yeah.
And he was loose and he was out wide and he came in there knowing he was going to do damage.
Right.
That has something. And when you take a fighter that's used to being at their best when they can do that, and you back them up and you take that away from them, sometimes they crack. Tyron Woodley is someone that I think cracks that way. Anthony Pettis, his only fights that he's really struggled bad in are guys that can do that to him physically.
We're gonna wait to see Anthony Pettis' next competition at 170.
Yeah.
And we're gonna revisit this, and I'm hoping that he gets somebody that is
I
gonna
wanna
be
see-
a mixed martial
I-
artist.
I want to
this is
see
like a
someone. I want to see
Taekwondo,
someone that's more.
tournament.
I want to see someone that'll put pressure on him.
Yeah.
Not a counter striker, not a blitzing counter striker.
He's gonna get a good.
I want to see him fight. Someone that can grapple a bit. Maybe not the best grappler in the division. Maybe not the best striker in the division.
Justin Gaethje, is he competing at welterweight?
No, he's 155.
155.
There's another one that just muddles up the water at 155.
Oh yeah, they're 155ers.
Yep.
So who's gonna get that fight, Edson or Gaethje? You can't really bet against Gaethje. Although he's had losses, of course.
He's had some losses. Guys can get him out of there if they can KO him. Edson Barboza is good enough to do that. Edson Barboza is also another fighter that cracks under the pressure of a guy that pushes forward constantly. Khabib, Donald Cerrone did it to him. You name it.
What's his name? Kevin Lee.
Oh
man, yeah, remember that kick?
Yeah.
that was amazing. But
made him do the stanky leg.
Stanky leg. I thought he was out, but I'm gonna have to go with Gaethje on this one. Only because I'm not sure if his chin is done yet. I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, he took a hell of a lot of shots.
I know he did.
He took a hell of a lot of shots before he got knocked out in any of them fights, so he can still take a shot, I would assume.
Yeah.
He has no problem taking 5 shots to the face to give you one back.
Okay, so tell me something about Edson Barboza. If I'm fighting against Edson Barboza,
be scared.
I'm habitually defending that spinning high kick.
He's got the fastest kicks of anyone I've ever seen.
That's muscle memory after my training camp, no?
It should be, but even that won't save you. Get in tight. Get in tight with that guy. Wrestle him, grapple him, up against the fence, grind him out.
Yeah.
Take away some of that energy, take away some of that gas tank so he can't move as fast. And then start to deal with him. This is the technical, let's not get fucked up trying to beat a guy.
You gotta stay in
This
close.
is being tactics. If you're going tactically to beat a guy like him, his best weapon is his strikes. His best weapon to help his strikes is his speed.
Right.
If you take away his range to use that speed and those strikes, you have a much more manageable task.
Right.
And when he's at kicking range,
you need to get away from him, or you need to get in close to him.
You have to be all the way in or all the way across the cage out.
David Branch, Jack Hermanson. I never heard of that guy.
Jack Hermanson?
Yeah.
I've not seen him.
I've never seen him.
David Branch is really good. He's very good outside of the UFC. He's very good in the UFC, but he's not the best of the UFC at 170. Outside of the UFC, he held the 185 and the 205 title at World Series of Fighting before it became the PFL.
He's an entertaining fighter. I like watching him fight.
He's a good fighter.
He hasn't won the big ones, but that's okay. He still goes there and does his work and entertain. Did you get a pick? Did you get a pick on the main event? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. An official pick.
So that I can tell you that you were wrong next week, and then
you want to try and get me to bet the odds. You know what? I'll take the odds just to be the odds. If that happens, I think the speed and the lateral movement of Edson Barboza will be a key. If he's using a lot of lateral movement, that'll make it a harder fight for Justin Gaethje to stay in his face. And it'll also make it easier for Edson Barboza to keep the range he needs to land the strikes he needs to land. He throws hard enough to KO anybody. And Justin Gaethje has been KO'd.
I'm going to add a wrinkle to it.
Okay.
A realistic wrinkle. I've never seen Justin Gaethje wrestle. I've heard he has strong wrestling credentials.
He's a very good wrestler. He just seems to refuse to use it at all times.
I think maybe it's not going to be this fight. Maybe it's not going to be the next fight. But eventually, Justin Gaethje is going to be like, I need to have a longer career. Not only that, if I have kids, I want them to grow up and see me older. And if I don't have kids, I want to have kids. And so there's going to be a maturity point, and I'm hoping that it's in this fight. And then he's going to be pressuring Edson Barboza
Yeah.
the way that and this would be a perfect fight to bring that out.
Yeah. You know something crazy though? After the loss he had to Eddie Alvarez,
Yes.
he was saying he doesn't have that much longer in this sport.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so if he's going to do that, he's got to get after it.
Yeah.
Because if he's really just saying that and meaning it, and not just saying it, I mean, you know, if you're counting the days, you got to start making changes. Because guys have learned how to deal with him now.
Carolina
Kovacevic.
I haven't seen her fight, but her sister's a beast.
Yeah.
So if she's anything like her sister,
Carolina is really good. She fought Joanna for the strawweight title before Rose got it.
no, sorry, I am thinking about Carolina. Carolina has a sister though, no? Doesn't she have a younger sister?
No, that's Shevchenko. And
Oh, yes. Okay.
one weight class up from that.
Okay, I got my girls confused. Well, that being said, I don't know, I'm not too impressed with Carolina. I know
She's so calm under pressure
Yeah.
in a fight. Like she's a really, really good fighter for someone that looks only 14 years old.
Yeah. I think I had this thing like JJ called her out from the other organization because they fought in the other organization.
Yeah, they
I
were
think they did that.
KSW.
I think she did that for. I don't know. I don't have any background information, but I guess they're both Polish, so
Yes.
maybe she's just trying to help her Polish sister out. But at the same time, like JJ's just trying to get an easy fight.
That was not an easy fight though.
But she fought her already, so she kind of know.
Yeah, but she also
she's
fought
getting.
Shevchenko before was willing to fight Shevchenko.
True.
Yeah,
That was just
three losses.
That was just my thought at the time, but.
JJ was running out of opponents though at the time. Good opponents that could be marketed against her. And she goes, you know what? There's a girl that's champion in another promotion or fighting in another promotion, but she's in my homeland fighting. I've got a problem. I want to be able to say I'm better than this person. And
Uncle Dana, sign her up.
well, that's a fighter's thing. You want to be the best. You gotta prove it. Even though from the start, you know, it's almost a diluted vision. Because you believe you're the best long before you actually are the best, if you get so far in that endeavor. And it takes you on the path. If you gotta find every champion from every organization that's ever lived. Eddie Alvarez jumping around everywhere and taking the belt at every promotion he's ever been in.
Boss,
going after one championship now. Yeah, they were talking about him earlier with the trifecta of titles. He's got the Bellator title. He's got the UFC title. Now he's going after one.
I'm gonna give you that's a huge accomplishment.
And he's beaten the champ in all the top promotions that he didn't fight as well.
That's a huge accomplishment. You reminded me of a stat that I heard yesterday. You probably heard it the same. Anthony Pettis is one of 2 fighters, I believe. And if it's not 2, it's 3. But I can only think of the 2 right now. He's one of 2 fighters that I think one of 3 fighters actually that have won a fight in 3 weight classes in the UFC. He's only one of 3.
There's not many.
Do you know the other 2?
Kenny Florian would be one of them.
Not from my memory. I could be wrong. Not
Kenny
from my
Florian
memory.
has fought. I'm pretty sure he has. He might not have. Actually, you know what? I don't know if he's won in that because Kenny Florian fought in the Ultimate Fighter. And
We'll fact find for next week.
Yeah, but he started at 185 and went down to 145. There's a lot of guys that have jumped 4 weight divisions.
There's only 3 guys that have won
but
a fight in 3 weight classes.
Diego.
Anthony Pettis is one of the three.
Yeah, Diego Sanchez is.
Not off of my memory, but we'll fact find for next week. I'm gonna give you.
Well,
the
here
three.
I'll give you the stats on that. He won the Ultimate Fighter
So you.
season 1 at 185. He won the championship of the season, a professional bout at 185. He was a very winning welterweight fighter, and he fought for the world lightweight title against BJ Penn at 155. He's also fought at 145, but I don't know if he's won at that weight class.
Not fought at 3 different weight classes.
No, but that's fought at 4.
One at 3 with different
Yeah,
weight
but
classes.
you didn't follow me.
Yeah.
The first 3 I said.
Well, that would
wins,
have been
and
the
they
4th one.
That would have been the 4th one.
Okay,
yeah. So he might have won at 4.
You might be right, but what I have in my head,
Okay.
based off of the stat that I think I heard yesterday, but we'll
Yeah.
fact find for next week
Okay.
because our time is limited here.
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis, as we just said.
Yeah.
BJ Penn.
Mm-hmm.
And third but not least, Conor McGregor.
Yep.
Only 3 guys in UFC. But
Yeah.
we'll fact find for
Yeah.
next week.
You know who would have, but never got the opportunity to? Dan
Oh.
Henderson would have.
Yeah.
Dan Henderson has won everything from 185 all the way up to heavyweight, but not in the UFC.
Or maybe one of our listeners can put it into the
Yeah.
comments.
Comment below.
Yeah, and then we don't have to fact
Hit
find.
that like, smash
Hit that
the
like
subscribe button.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it was fun. We'll touch that next week. It was amazing. Another hour. We're gonna leave on our own accord this week.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna kick us out of the studio.
Okay.
Next fight card, we've had our picks. We both picked Justin Gaethje. What did you pick?
I said Barboza, just
You picked-
to be different.
Just to be different. Okay.
Just
so
to
I
be
got
different.
Gaethje.
But I gave
good-
a way
good-
for him to get to the path to victory.
Right. And maybe one day we'll have the fights right here behind it here, and we could analyze it like, what's his name? The new guy from, not the new guy, but the guy that took over Monday.
Oh, you're talking about Luke Thomas.
Luke Thomas, yeah.
MMA fighting.
MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke was doing breakdowns before Ariel left, but
He just put it on that show.
He became the lead guy on MMA fighting
Fair
after
enough.
Ariel left.
So that's a wrap for this week. What's it called again?
The jump.
The Jump. The Jump MMA. We jump in the fuck in and we just doing. So that's another thing I want to close off with actually.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing at the time here.
Yeah.
But basically, we're not expert podcasters.
This is number 2 for what we've
This is
ever
the
done.
second time we've ever tried to do this
Yeah.
thing. Me, myself, have been saying for years that I'm going to have a podcast about MMA. I know I talk about it all the time anyways. I watch it every weekend. I'm going to, for years. And, you know, you could talk or you could walk. So this is us walking. This is me walking. And we look to grow and become better every week. We've already got some suggestions from some viewers. We've tried to implement those suggestions. And we are looking to implement more suggestions once they come in. So we thank you for your feedback. We thank the sponsor again, Utoya CBD. If you have trouble with your anxiety, your depression, nausea, vomiting, acne, heart health, inflammation, cancer, pain of any sorts, girls, menstrual cycle pain, anxiety, Utoya CBD products. The link is in the description. Check it out. See what else you can get or learn more about CBD. It's an amazing phenomenon that's taken over. Throw away those pills. Get something natural. Do good. Do you have any final words, last comments? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I think we good. That's a
wrap.
wrap.
It's been nice.